Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Anesthesiology and Critical Care Medicine at Hopkins Hollywood Squares. We're getting to know all of the key program leadership. Dr. Banks, start with you.
Hello, my name is Michael Banks. It's a pleasure to meet you, and thank you very much for showing interest in our anesthesiology program. I'm one of the assistant program directors. I am also an intensivist, as well as an educator. I have a master's in education in health professions. My clinical interests are critical care. I'm one of the critical care intensivists. My academic interests are interprofessional education, as well as teaching residents anesthesiology, as well as echocardiography. I am originally from New Jersey, born and raised. I came to Baltimore when I was in undergrad. I went to undergrad here at Hopkins, then left for Pitt, then came back to Baltimore at University of Maryland, where I trained in anesthesiology. And then I came back to Hopkins for my critical care fellowship. I've lived on and off in Baltimore for approximately 20 years. I'm married. My wife is from Baltimore. I have 3 children. They all live in Baltimore with me. And the reason why I love this city is its proximity to my home. I'm an East Coast native. My family is from Jersey and New York, as well as family on my father's side in Washington, D.C. and Virginia. So I really enjoy Baltimore and all that it has to offer, and I hope that we'll get to meet, and I will work with you as well.
All right. I am Dave Berman. I'm also one of the assistant program directors of the residency. Starting back from the beginning, I was born in New York City. My parents had the audacity to move to New Jersey, but then moved back into New York City. So I consider myself a New Yorker. We're going to ignore the New Jersey part. I did my undergrad at NYU, my med school and residency at Mount Sinai in New York, and then came to Hopkins for my OB anesthesia fellowship, where Dr. Isaac was my fellowship director. And then I stayed on as faculty. I'm finishing up my master's in education at Hopkins. I have clinical interests in OB anesthesia, hepatobiliary cases, and pretty much cases that no one else wants to do. I am boarded in echo in addition to being interested in OB anesthesia, and I love clinical teaching. On a personal note, I have a wife who I've managed to hoodwink into continuing to stay with me. We met when I was her orientation leader in college. And we have 2 kiddos. We have a 3-year-old girl who's a 3-nager, and we have a little guy who just turned 1. And that's about it. I love living in Baltimore. I live about 15 minutes north of downtown. And in New York City, my house would cost about 4 times what it costs, and it would be 1/4 as big. I'm very happy to be living in the Baltimore suburbs.
My name is Tina Tran. I'm one of the assistant program directors. It's very nice to have you guys interested in our program. I'm originally from Northern Virginia near Washington, D.C. I went to University of Virginia for undergrad and then came to Hopkins for my residency training. I've been here since 2005 and have really enjoyed the positive changes that have occurred in the program. I'm very proud of this city in Baltimore. That's where I met my husband. We now reside in the suburbs of Maryland, called Howard County, where I live with my husband, my 9-year-old son, and my parents, and our dog. One of the strongest points of this about this program are the residents and the residency leadership. And I'm so proud to work alongside Dr. Banks, Dr. Berman, and Dr. Isaac, and Dr. Walpole. And hopefully we all get a chance to meet you. My interests are in ambulatory anesthesia, ophthalmic anesthesia, love doing OB call, and all kind of clinical opportunities I can to work with residents, fellows, and other faculty member. Look forward to meeting all of you.
So my name is Jillian Isaac. I am the Associate Residency Program Director at Johns Hopkins for the Department of Anesthesiology. Like Dave, I am originally from New York City. I was born in Manhattan, but my dad was Foreign Service, which I found out when I was 14 years old, really meant CIA. So we traveled a lot. I went to 13 different schools between kindergarten and 12th grade. And I've been all over the world, but I still call New York my home. I went to undergraduate in Utah, and I wanted to be a chemist. So I went to Georgetown to get a PhD in chemistry, and I was a few years into the program when I realized that chemistry and pipettes and labs were probably not my calling because I miss people too much. So I went into medical school thinking I was going to cure cancer. And I got to medical school and fell in love with anesthesia. And here I am. I went to medical school in New York. I did my residency training at Columbia. And then I went to Hopkins for my fellowship. And I've been there ever since. I've been at Johns Hopkins for, I am old, 12 years now, probably older than everyone else on this Zoom call. I do obstetric anesthesia, and I have a passion for resident education. My research and my interest is actually in testing and how we test residents, and can we improve our testing, and how can we help our residents prepare for their standardized testing. And I also, of course, love obstetric anesthesia, and I'm involved in some of the obstetric anesthesia research that we do at Johns Hopkins. On a personal note, I am married 14 years now. I met my husband, who's also an anesthesiologist in medical school. He's originally from Trinidad and Tobago. And I have 3 kids, 1 girl and 2 boys. And I have 2 dogs. And I am a total soccer mom. I spend on average around 18 hours a week driving or at soccer, which is a crazy amount of time. But I love Johns Hopkins. I love Baltimore. I actually don't live in Baltimore City. I live about 20 miles north in an area called Hunt Valley Sparks, which is amazing. The school systems are really good. It's very country. It's very hometown feel. So if you're not interested in a city within a short drive, you can definitely get the country life. And I love where I live. I love Hopkins. I love the people I work with. We are such a family. We are so close. And I'm so glad that you are interested in our program. And I really hope you consider Johns Hopkins and Baltimore, because I really feel like we have a lot to offer.
Just to add on to what Dr. Isaac said, our family is very close-knit and it's very diverse. In addition to all that I said earlier, I'm also the faculty liaison to the hospital's Office of Diversity and Inclusion. And I spend a great deal of my time recruiting stellar applicants into our program from underrepresented minority areas. Hopefully we can encourage all of you to come and see our program, and hopefully find it interesting and want to come and stay. Thank you very much for your time.
We're looking forward to meeting you guys. Thanks so much for watching.